Zombieland Double Tap is directed by Robin Fletcher and stars Woody Harrelson, Emma Stone, Jesse Eisenberg, and Abigail Breslin, and is the long-awaited sequel to 2009's Zombieland, which actually came out 10 years ago.
Yep.
And this is now a decade later where we pick up the events of our main characters from the last film, who are pretty much basically taken recluse at the White House, like you see in the trailers. And they start having to basically survive like they did in the first movie, while along the way coming across like different survivors and stuff, new survivors. And we actually get to see like different types of zombies in this that they have evolved basically.
Yeah, unlike the first one, which kept it settled with just zombies, this one it seems like they're evolving into different levels.
Yeah. And then we also deal with like our relationships with Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone's characters, and then also Abigail Breslin, who was a little 12-year-old in the first one. Yeah. She's now gotten a lot older now, and she's
it's weird seeing her age so much.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Now that she ends up getting
everybody else, you can arguably say they look the same,
pretty much. And then she ends up going on hanging out with this hippie guy, and then it's basically them having to
look for her.
Yeah. Now, here's a little backstory. Now, this movie was directed by the same guy who did the first Zombieland, Ruben Fletcher, and he also did Venom from last year, which I actually thought was not as bad as what a lot of people thought.
Yeah. It does have its flaws, though.
Yeah, and he also directed some other ones like 30 Minutes or Less, which I hear you watched, and you said it wasn't too bad. And then there was also Gangster Squad, which I saw, which I actually kind of liked. So the guy has actually had some talent, and with the first Zombieland when it came out, it was actually one of the most surprising zombie comedies I enjoyed next to Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, I enjoyed the fuck out of the first Zombieland. I had we had Shaun of the Dead first, which was really good. And it was great. It was fantastic, and it's considered up there in my top 10 favorite fun zombie films. Yeah, and it was definitely
that year I was in one of my best movies of 2009.
Yeah.
And it was just it was not able to great to mix. It blended the humor, like the very dark humor, mixed in with a lot of fun zombie vibe.
And not to mention, Woody Harrelson's character was fucking fun.
Yeah.
And I love Jesse Eisenberg. And not only that, for what it's worth, and we'll get into this film in a second, the new one, that film also had its moments where, while it was, having fun, the comedy blended very well, but it also mixed a lot of dark and serious scenes.
It did have
towards the end.
Toward the end, it does have some serious moments that really do.
And I did like the carnival setting.
That did too. I love that. So the new one, this was actually talking about. They talked about doing this for a long time, but it was at a period where they just couldn't get I guess it was a problem where they couldn't find a good script for it for a long time, and also you got to think too, between Zombieland to this one. I think it may have, in my mind, I think it was also a tendency of getting Emma Stone possibly, because after Zombieland, she pretty much became more of a serious actress.
Yeah, she became more into drama, and Jesse Eisenberg, as you know, went on to do more blockbusters like playing Lex Luthor and other stuff, and then he did other films, and then you had Woody Harrelson, he's doing other projects. So out of the 3 out of the 4 minus the little girl, it seemed like it would be hard getting these 3 back together with her. And but yeah, this is a long wait, and like we've been getting lately with films where,
like we just saw Jay and Silent Bob reboot just recently.
So we're getting this new thing now, which I'm getting into the vibe of making a sequel to
a comedy
of a film in general that's like 20, maybe 30 years old, and bringing the same cast back and seeing their age.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this one had me a little bit worried on the when I saw the trailers. While it looked real fun, I was concerned. With time, is that going to be an issue?
Yeah, because
unlike other stuff like Dumb and Dumber 2 and all that was different. But with this one, for some reason,
this was in development a very long time.
Yeah, this one only worried me more than the other films doing that, because
they actually started wanting to do one right after the first movie. Yeah. So this actually had a lot of time.
This one had me a little bit worried at first. So upon seeing this film, I will say that it does not live up to the first one. Like, the first one is going to probably, it's in from the majority of the audience, it's in their favorites of their top 10s, and I don't think this one's going to be as remembered.
Yeah, I don't. But with that being said, I still enjoyed it. But I will admit, like, when this is the kind of thing with a lot of comedy sequels, they don't always live up to the first movie standards because when you usually have a first movie, it's like a lightning in a bottle. If it's like turns out to be really great, and then when you have a sequel years later, sometimes the magic just isn't always there like it is with the first one. But with that being said, it follows the same spirit like the first one. It's just not as funny.
It's not as funny. And I'll get into my cons here in a second. There is some issues I do have with this film. On that, let's start with our pros. It's cool seeing the cast back. Woody Harrelson, fucking as funny as ever. Love, him and Jesse going at it.
Yeah,
Eisenberg is
those
so
are my favorite
great.
parts.
Those are they're the highlights.
And then also, and the rest of the cast too. It's great to see Emma Stone
coming back into this kind of
movies again. And you can tell that the cast, their characters themselves, like they have a genuine like sense of relationship that they enjoy being together like a family, basically. And I love that.
Yeah.
And I also enjoyed that they had a lot of fun with playing with their fucking shooting zombies and shit with the rolls and stuff.
Yeah.
And the humor does hit points on times, but we'll get into it later on with it. It does tend to kind of lose a little bit of steam because it kind of overdoes it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the movie does have that same fun vibe like the first movie did.
Yeah, it does have its fun vibe to a certain extent. We'll get in our cons in a second on that one. I did like the upgrades of different type of zombies.
Yeah, because they get these new ones called...
I wish they would have went in more detail on that, why they're changing and stuff. Yeah, but again, it's supposed to be like this breaking the fourth wall. Like if you remember the first one, it does that same stuff. I'm glad they still stuck with that, with the whole words popping up and the rules and all the stuff happening on the screen. Yeah, telling you they got that vibe. They still make it feel like it's Zombieland.
Right, and
I did.
It's like just that it's hit and miss. Like it's cool that they bring in cool zombies like these because you get like the T-800 one that they refer to, and then you get like the ninja one. You got like the
which I was kind of,
they don't bring them in hardly. They only bring in like
actually they don't bring them in.
Most of it focuses on just the one specific zombie. Really.
Yeah, the T-800, which they didn't know, but the ninja one, which they were talking about, which I was actually looking forward to, because be honest with you, that would have been creepy as fuck because they stealth their way in. But unfortunately, when you hear him talking about it, that's it. That's the last time you see him. So
and then while I also got pretty too, like much like the first one, it's good that they still stuck to their guns with, no pun intended, with practical effects with the gore. And everything. I'm glad they kept that there. Yeah, now there are some CGI here and there, but for the most part with the gore, I'm glad they still stuck with practical. Yeah,
there were some pretty gruesome parts in it.
And I do like some of the other new cast members they join in, which is my kind of hit and miss. Like, we'll get to them later. We won't spoil who they are, but basically, like you see in the trailers, it's some of the characters I come across. They do have a fun personality that I got into. It's just that there wasn't a whole lot of development for them.
There's not a lot of development, and while one particular character was a hit and miss, she was fun, but then at times she can get quite annoying. Yeah, and that was
the blonde.
What's her name? The actress.
Rosario Dawson.
No,
the other girl, Zoe Dutch.
Zoe Dutch, the one that was in that one movie Before I Fall.
Yeah, and she was also trivia note. She's actually the daughter of Leah Thompson.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I could see the resemblance. Yeah. But anyways, she was fun at quite a bit in this movie, but then. With her character, I see what they were doing with her, but then it kind of gets to you. But I will say that I did like Rosario Dawson as an add-on, and see it coming. Her and Woody Harrelson, which both badasses. But it's also you get the woman badass. But I'm actually glad they did that because we can get somebody on his level. Yeah. But also, and this is me, I think too. I'm glad to see Rosario Dawson back in a movie again because I haven't seen her in a long fucking time. Another thing I liked was there was a cameo by Luke Wilson, and I will tell you when it gets this part, this is probably my highlight on the comedy level. This was fucking hilarious, especially when them two go bitching at each other. He's like, I don't like you. Yeah, I would have loved to see like more of the I would have loved to see that go on a little longer. Yeah, I did too. Throughout, maybe they could have. I'm not gonna try to spoil, but I wish they could have done something.
Right, I got you.
Yeah, and I did like a little clever thing that they did with Leah Thompson's daughter, where she's pretty much. You got to think the zombie apocalypse happened in 2009. Uber did not exist for many years later, and she was coming up with this like they're breaking the whole where they're coming up with ideas that have been invented in our world. But haven't been invented in their world. So that was kind of clever.
I did too. I like the whole self-referential commentary about that.
Yeah.
And I also got to admit too, they actually do have a scene where they kind of mention how, well, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek how they're saying how things like are sold 2009 from the first movie.
Yeah.
It's like, you need to come up with a new catchphrase.
Yeah.
So they're...
All right. So there ain't much we could really go into in the pros without spoiling. So getting into my cons, I will say that time was really a problem in this film. I did feel like waiting too long, unlike you saw Dumb and Dumber 2, Jay and Silent Bob, you saw some other films. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I will say that unlike those films, I felt like time really hurt this movie.
It did.
And that's because, for one, the way they went at it, I felt like they went at it relatively weak. Now, this film could have worked if it would have, with the time, waiting so long, it could work. But the structure of the movie doesn't really dig into what made the first one so rememberable.
It doesn't have that, that kind of humor that's on point. That's in that.
There's a lot of things not on point. Like the first, I'm not gonna go in the first one, but anyways, the second one and this one, it just felt like the entire structure. If you guys remember the first one, how that was structured, and it was just, I can't describe it.
Well, a lot of the problem too is that they're pretty much also doing pretty much the same plot as the first one in a way, because in that movie too, it also had to deal with.
I know, but the first one, there was a bit the whole structure is what my complaint is in this film is like the journey through where they're going.
Yeah,
the journey in the first one. Because you got to think, instead of being settled in one area, it was a journey on journey to they thought was going to be a safe haven place. This one, it's kind of like one of my issues, and you saw in the trailer, they're in the White House. And then they go on this pointless journey, and what the girl pulls, the little girl, fucking Little Rock. What she does, she's basically the plot of the story. Because she wants to find a man,
she wants to
and become more mature and get a boyfriend and then move on. That's basically the plot, is finding her. And I'm just saying,
they could have
come up with much. Something. Yeah, there was. They could have
come with something better.
Yeah, more clever than that. Like that's what I'm trying to say. It's kind of hard to word it because I'm trying to avoid spoiling this movie.
Yeah,
but I mean, there wasn't much of a journey in this film. I was wondering why they were getting around from DC to here to Tennessee so quickly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jumpy in this film. And it's just it's like, damn, you can get fucking the other side of the United States in a day when you really can't. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
They're not establishing. They also hurt the establishing on some scenes, like the part where something with Emma Stone's character and Jesse Eisenberg's character, and then for a while you're wondering is it a day later, but it's actually they refer to a month later.
Yeah, the editing kind of
they waited a while without establishing a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
so you're like,
some of the editing can kind of confuse you.
It's like, damn, he moved on so quickly. It's like they're missing something. Where they're going towards the end, I didn't feel it was exciting as the carnival.
Yeah, I didn't either. Though I will say, in one respect, because I'm not gonna say what it is, but let's just say that if this was if this was kind of basically an homage or a tribute to this certain film, I give them respect on that aspect, because they go to pretty much something that's reminiscent of Land of the Dead, which I actually thought was a nice homage.
I get the homage part is where they do pay off, especially the part where they're talking about them eating brains and stuff. That was kind of cool, hinting Return Lived. I see the homages and, like you said, the Land of the Dead, but other than that, that's homages are not as strong as the plot itself.
I know. And I give them respect on that aspect.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, the humor was nowhere near as good as the first one, in my opinion.
No.
I do feel like it's... Now, there are some fucking funny-ass parts.
There are.
Yeah, especially his addiction to Elvis Presley.
Yeah,
Woody
that was
Harrelson's,
hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's not as like, or it doesn't have that natural kind of feel
Organic,
like the first one did. But because you got to think too, this kind of script you
can see the struggles.
Yeah.
And you feel like they gave in because they knew that they needed to release something.
Yeah.
And they gave in, and I wish they would have
took more of their time.
I felt like, all right, I feel like in the last 10 years, while they were trying to make this sequel right after the first one, because the first one was massive success.
Yeah.
I feel like when they couldn't come up with something, and then the unavailability of some of the actors and actresses, I feel like when they quit, then they were like, all right, this many years later, like, let's come back. And I just felt like they were losing their creativity.
Yeah.
And in time, you're like, when you try to bring a story that's that old back into, the realm, like, Dumb and Dumber 2 was one of the reasons where, like, they try to bring something back, didn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And you can see the struggleness in this.
Right. And
yeah.
But overall, though, I will admit that despite it not being nowhere near as good as the first one, it still was it was still something that I'm at least glad existed.
Yeah.
It was still good to see them come back as those characters again.
Yeah. I wish there would have been a more emotional ending.
Right. It could have put more of its emotional side to it instead of what we got.
And this one, I felt also, that was another thing, like the whole thing where I would love to see more, it is there. Woody Harrelson does look at Little Rock as a daughter figure.
Yeah.
Though I do feel like they stretch the movie out to other areas that you don't really feel that bond like you should.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. You get what I'm saying? And not only that, at the beginning of the film, I was kind of let down that they don't really go into what they've been doing the last 10 years.
Yeah, because,
usually movies like this will fucking do that, but they didn't do that in this one. I'm like, okay, so I'm assuming you guys found the White House right there. I get that you in the opening credits, you found the White House, so you can't say you've been staying there. So, what you been doing in 10 years? Tell us.
I mean, it would have been good to show the gap between. You know? Though, I will admit, too, there is something toward the end that they kind of do, kind of like a precursor to the movie, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, I get what you're saying. The movie just has its novelty that, despite seeing them back and just the nostalgia feel, everything of the first one,
the nostalgia still
it's got the same type of feel like the first one, but it doesn't lack the same type of magic and type of natural feeling of the humor like the first, and the story could have been way better.
And I do gotta say one thing: where the ending is, and hopefully, if it grosses, which I would think it will, can I recommend something to the director to not wait another 10 years?
Yeah.
Probably the best idea.
Well,
get on it.
Not to be comparing, but that's pretty much what they do at Boondock Saints. How they did it every 10 years.
Yeah, but no, that's a totally different. They actually clever and make those movies. They put in a lot of heart.
Well, I know.
Just like Jay did. Jay and Silent Bob did. We waited how long? 18 years? For fucking part 2, and you saw Kevin Smith, and you'll see our review. You see the heart and soul he pours in that.
Yeah, exactly.
The director don't feel like he put his heart and soul.
Yeah,
in this one.
That's what I'm saying. So overall, though, I will admit though that I did think it was still enjoyable, but it just wasn't on par with the first. Exactly. But with that being said, I'm gonna give the movie probably just a average Joe on the Film Phreeks meter.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Average Joe on Film Phreeks meter.
Fair enough. For those of you who have also seen Zombieland 2 and also the first one, let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. And if you like what you see here, you can feel free to like and subscribe to our channel and check out some other reviews here and our website at filmphreeks.com. And we'll be seeing you in our next review.
Later.
We'll see you later.